Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some more Pittsburgh Steelers tape breakdown and analysis. Did a video similar to this last year, but Jaylen Warren, watching him, the intensity in which he plays with. I mean, this guy is just so much fun to watch, and frankly, he is as much fun to watch without the football in his hands as he is when he's actually carrying or catching the football. So, bunch of clips here from this Bengals game. Let's talk about it. Before we start, if you guys could like this video, also subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate that. And we talked about effort in the Colts game and lack thereof and all the pick and stuff, and you really see Warren's effort on display in this game. I know I talked about him without the ball, and we'll get to a bunch of clips highlighting that in just one moment, but two of him actually touching and carrying the football. This one comes early, 1st and 10. It's a small thing, I know, but the devil is in the details. This is a 1st and 10 run. There's contact essentially at the line of scrimmage, about 1 yard past, and Warren's fighting hard, falling forward, and gets about 2 additional yards, turning a 2nd and 9 into 2nd and 7. And that stuff is going to matter for an offense trying to find some positivity and trying to, put some points on the board. And of course, they did that against the Bengals 34-11. Love this dart scheme as well. The backside tackle, Dan Moore pulling. They did this a bunch of times in this game, done it many times throughout the season. It's become maybe not a staple, but a good change-up to their offense they've been using. They did not pull their guards or their tackles at all the first month of the season, and their gap schemes, some of the wham blocks and short pulls with Daniels, the dart scheme with the backside tackle, more pulling have been effective. But back to Jaylen Warren here. Again, just watching the first contact, watching him fight forward, the power, the leg drive, the finish that he has. Right there, Jermaine Pratt, talented linebacker, is making contact at the 40. But this play, it gets ended up at the 43-yard line, and Warren's able to spin out of that, churn forward, get additional yards. So this really should have been no gain, becomes 3 yards, and that matters. In the Mason Rudolph video I just did for the channel and for the site, I highlighted Rudolph going through his progressions, finding Warren here, less of an effort play from Warren, but again, just the well-roundedness of his game, whether it's blocker, runner, receiver. When last year special teams doesn't really do that anymore because he has an important offensive role. But check release here, make this catch, pick up the first down, get a good chunk of additional yardage. Again, credit to Rudolph here for scanning, finding his check down, knowing where he's at against pressure. But again, Warren just making the catch, turning upfield, not gonna try to go down, slide or anything like that. He's gonna cut inside, put his shoulder down if he has to, and it's a really nice gain here on 3rd and 5 to move the sticks. So. That's just what you're looking for in these situations. Convert, and Pittsburgh did. All right, now let's look at him without the ball in his hands, and we'll start with the most memorable play he made from this game, the lead block on Calvin Austin's 7-yard touchdown. Warren right here. Nice little design. Pittsburgh has run a variation of this in short yardage situations, and this time they kind of add on to it with Warren becoming a lead blocker, but point is, watching Jaylen Warren right here on Jermaine Pratt, and that is what we call a decleater. I mean, that is just the block you get hyped up for. Look at Darnell Washington getting hyped for Warren on this play, and right there we'll see the contact. I mean, that, and again, Pratt's a talented player. Him and Logan Wilson are a really good duo of off-ball linebackers in Cincinnati, and Warren just puts him on his butt in just a real tone-setting type of play. And again, Washington looking back, I mean, that's a dude that knows how to block. And so whenever you have Washington appreciating that, it really says something. And then also just a quick side note, watch Pat Freiermuth on Hilton. I know it's a corner, but ex-Steeler, run his feet, drive him into the bench, maybe trying to find some more secondary depth for Pittsburgh. I don't know, but nice job there by all the lead blockers, by Washington, by Freiermuth, but Warren, of course, having the most notable hit. Let's take one last look at it because it is that good. And again, just setting the tone. Pittsburgh, not the physical team against the Colts. They were clearly the more physical team against the Bengals. Big reason why they won that game. For me, and probably a lot of people who watched him in the summer 2022 in training camp, Warren first got attention not for what he could do as a runner, not even what he could do on special teams, usually how a lot of undrafted guys start climbing that ladder, but his pass protection. Think about backs on backers, that drill Pittsburgh does on the first day in pads. Warren was always the most, consistent running back. It's a tough situation to be in. He was fearless and he was competent and looked really good. And by week 5 of last season, he became the 3rd down back in large part due to his pass protection. And it was really good in this game against Cincinnati. And the Bengals like the mug linebackers in the A gap, like we're seeing Jermaine Pratt here, and sometimes drop guys out and they disguise things well. It's a lot of chaos. It's a lot to deal with offensively. And so here for Warren to scan, seeing the A gap, dropper come out, and then seeing Wilson come across, you got this overload blitz here where you're bringing the corner off the edge and the linebacker through. Looks like Warren is first looking at the DB as the safety comes over last second, but then working inside out on his rules here. He blocked the innermost rusher that's free. Warren picks him up well, and that's, again, a good player in Logan Wilson and gives Rudolph time to throw this pass. Unfortunately, incomplete, but Warren does his job. We'll take another look at it from the other end zone view. And again, just scanning, reading, picking up, and then executing. Give your quarterback a clean pocket, and that's the job of the running back. Another example here from Jaylen Warren working right to left and picking up the blitzer as the DB trying to disguise that and hold that, and just a good job, solid base, good anchor, cleats in the ground, and just, absolutely just stonewalls the DB coming in off this blitz. And that's what he's got to do here, and just Warren doing his job. And they called Dan Moore for holding on this play. This is a snatch and trap. I don't know how in the world he got called for holding on this one. That's just called blocking. So that's an aside. We'll see from the other view as well. But Warren identifying, scanning. Again, the Bengals, they disguise things. A lot of guys put their hand up, not entirely sure who's rushing, who's not. Warren, really good job here. A little shaky early in the season. I think Pittsburgh schematically has solved some of the overload pressure issues. Not perfectly, but much better. But execution is what it comes down to, and Warren does on this play. All right, I showed two plays, and they're both incomplete. There were penalties. You could sit there and argue and say they didn't really change the game that much. Not my point, but even if I grant you that, this one certainly made a huge difference. This is the 66-yard touchdown to George Pickens down the left sideline, and identifying this is much easier, I think, than the other two, but you're still seeing Warren pick it up, and again, you're seeing some of this pre-snap movement and adjustments, and Warren right there, and again, not just making the block, but he's not on his heels. He's not getting pushback. I mean, he is taking it to the blitzer as opposed to kind of holding on and just trying to absorb it. And that's a big difference, and it really does a good job. If this ball does not come out quickly and on time, there's going to be an opportunity for Rudolph to go to extra reads and work his progressions and not be under pressure immediately. So there's varying degrees of how well you pick things up. And yeah, he dropped his head, and they've been calling that on him a little bit this year. But it's the mentality that you kind of have to play with to be a really good pass protector, and just a really good base, driving his feet. Sorry for the short edit there, but beautiful ball was what I was going to say about Mason Rudolph. Had to redo and re-edit something, but great protection, great throw, great play by Pickens. It's a big touchdown. Finally, not a great play, but better than what it could have been. Avoiding disaster is how I will frame this play. Late in the game, Pittsburgh has won it, so it's not consequential to the outcome, but Warren slipping here as he's about to take this handoff out of his end zone, or trips on his feet. I don't know what exactly he did here, but and Ben pointed this out on his Football and podcast. It's a really good point. We'll illustrate it now. Instead of panicking and trying to go back for the football, or trying to make a bad situation worse, he just starts blocking and just kind of has the intuition that, okay, the handoff has been botched and there's an issue there, but Rudolph's behind me. I'm going to trust him to corral the football. I'm going to throw the block instead, because if he doesn't and he tries to double back or do something, really anything other than what he does, the D tackle right here, who just put Broderick Jones on the ground, is going to make this play in the end zone for a safety. And just enough here, Warren's block buys enough time for Rudolph to fall out of the end zone and avoid the safety there. And so that's actually a really important play, just to avoid that kind of blemish to end the game. And so I want to highlight that. We'll check it out from this view. Again, just, freak play, but rolling with it, almost improv, the improv of football. Yes, and okay, we screwed this up. I tripped, I slipped, whatever it was. I'm going to just go into block mode, trust my quarterback to make a play, and hopefully everything works out. And it did. And that's just kind of the mentality in which the Jaylen Warren plays. So a lot of fun watching this guy. I mean, he's the all-effort, great teammate, chip on his shoulder. The story, I'm sure his upbringing has an impact with that, going from Snow College to Utah State, Oklahoma State, undrafted, just climbing the ladder, all those things. But he's a guy that really embodies what you're looking for in terms of the mentality, the effort, the selflessness in which he plays. Just he's excited for anybody to make a play, whether it's him, somebody else, it does not matter. And so I really enjoy watching his game. He just plays it, as they say, the right way. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching. Please like, please subscribe, please check out SteelersDepot.com. Again, thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon.